After 9 months, the CAF World Cup qualifiers are returning with huge anticipation like it's a new season of the Game of Thrones. We got Aliou Cisse returning to coaching. We got Benny McCarthy becoming a manager of a national team. And some spicy matchups as we only got 6 match days left of CAF World Cup qualifiers. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Which game are you most hyped for in the CAF World Cup qualifiers? We're obviously going to do the preview right now, and a week after the qualifiers, the review video will be out. So it's been a while since we talked about CAF World Cup qualifiers because it's been 9 months. So we're going to go through each and every group, give the preview, and see which teams desperately need a win. So Group A, Egypt kind of have this under control, and they've obviously had a very good AFCON qualifiers, and we know the players they have and this caliber of team they are, and they should be winning this group quite comfortably because Guinea-Bissau, strong team. I don't think they will challenge Egypt. Burkina Faso, you could say, are the underperforming teams so far in these qualifiers. Remember, they had that draw with Sierra Leone. So if you're looking at Burkina Faso, you got to beat Djibouti, which it should be a foregone conclusion that Burkina Faso will beat them. And then Burkina Faso has to beat Guinea-Bissau. You at least, if you're Burkina Faso, you at least got to get to the runners-up position in this group. Now, Egypt, they got Ethiopia and they got Sierra Leone at home. That should be 6 points right there. Egypt, by the end of this window, might be 10 points, 8 points ahead of everybody else. And by the time we get to June, Egypt maybe will already qualify to the World Cup. But they've also been a very solid team. I think the thing for Egyptians and everything they want to see is just more solid defensively. We know the attack, no debate there. The midfield is pretty strong. It's just that defense that gives me a little bit of worry. But I'm really worried about Burkina Faso. They got to beat Guinea-Bissau. But Guinea-Bissau, they got Sierra Leone away. Not easy. And Burkina Faso at home. And those are two tough matchups. So I'm expecting Egypt to take further control in this group. And yeah, Ethiopia, while they've only scored 1 goal in 4 games, they're a strong team, very difficult to break down. I just don't see them have enough goal scorers. They have a favorable matchup against Djibouti, but to get up into runners-up in this group, you at least got to get, let's say, 15 points. Do we think Ethiopia can get up to 15 points? Not really. So really in this group, you need a big window from Burkina Faso. They need to prove why they qualify to the AFCON on a consistent basis and take control of the second place. If they lose to Guinea-Bissau, yeah, their World Cup dreams are toast. This next group though, oh my God, it is going to be sensational for match day 5 and 6 as we have Sudan, who are top of the group, going up against Senegal, who are second place in the group. Let's see how good Pape Thiaw is doing. Because Pape Thiaw, obviously the new manager of Senegal, there's not going to be Ndia and no Nico Jackson. So you're looking at the forward line, you're relying on a getting old up there in age, Sadio Mane, Ismail Assar, who's playing very well for Crystal Palace. The one question you never can dispute against Senegal, defensively, always strong, midfield, very, very good. Either it's Pape Matar Sarr or Lamine Camara. Love Lamine Camara, one of my favorite players in Africa. But you're going up against Sudan. And the one thing for Sudan is they are one of the most difficult teams to play against right now on the continent. Because, yeah, they don't have the stars. And the league, I think the league, they have to play in Mauritania. So Sudan have to face all this adversity. These games, the home games for Sudan, will be played in Libya. So they face all this adversity. But yet they overcome it and they galvanize as a group. And yes, they don't have the stars, but they just play so well together chemistry-wise that I'm just amazed at what Sudan are doing. But now Sudan, they got Senegal next. That's going to be a huge test. If Sudan beats Senegal in this match day, wow, that would be a massive statement. But an intriguing storyline would be, what if Sudan and Senegal draw their game and DR Congo beats South Sudan? Then the top 3 all separated by 1 point. Hey, this is what we're here for with World Cup qualifiers. I love this now new format that CAF have developed with the World Cup qualifiers because the old format was just not sufficient enough and it was just so grueling. This is proper because you're going to get the best 2 teams from each group. Obviously, the 4 best runners-up will advance. But it's just intriguing to see how Sudan will play against Senegal. I don't think the game is going to be entertaining. I could see it being a 0-0, and maybe some individual quality from like Ismail Assar or Sadio Mane will be the difference, because I don't think Senegal will give up a lot of goals. That's the one thing I'm never going to be worried about with Senegal. The defense is so good. DR Congo, they should be beating South Sudan. South Sudan, strong team, but not good enough to go up against DR Congo. DR Congo going away to Mauritania, but Mauritania recently, compared to what they were in the AFCON last year, have really fallen off a cliff. So if you're DR Congo, you got to get 6 points out of 6 in this window to keep up with the top two. Senegal, they will play Togo. It should be comfortable for Senegal there. And Sudan will have the Sudan derby. I feel like Senegal will take the top spot after this window. But if it's a draw between Sudan and Senegal, anything is up for grabs on the final 5 match days. And another crazy group, as the top 4 are separated by 2 points. 2 points! And Nigeria are in 5th place with 3 points. So let's first talk about the Super Eagles. There's a lot to dive into with this group. The Super Eagles obviously just hired Eric Chelle. He's got a massive job on his hands. One, okay, the AFCON, we'll talk about that later this year. The World Cup qualifiers, though, have been nothing short of a disgrace from the Super Eagles. You look at their team, it's just disjointed. So how is Eric Chelle, with 2 huge games, Rwanda, they just beat Nigeria in the AFCON qualifiers. Rwanda have been on a good streak recently. You know, they didn't qualify for the AFCON, but they are a competent team. They don't play really good football, but they'll get the results. Obviously, they beat South Africa at home earlier in these World Cup qualifiers. So Eric Chelle's got a tough job. You're first going up against Rwanda. Zimbabwe, still, even though Zimbabwe are bottom of this group, they're no joke either. Zimbabwe played a good game against South Africa away from home early in these World Cup qualifiers as well. So this group, there is no easy opponent. Yeah, you could say Lesotho, but even Lesotho are surprising every team. So I think for Eric Chelle, it's about, you just got to get 6 points. I'm not really looking at the performances. I'm just looking at the results because the players, club-wise, are in form. Now let's see what they can do for the national team, the Anomal Lukmans, the Ola Aynes, obviously Victor Osimhen. So I think it's going to be such, because if Eric Chelle and Nigeria, let's say if they get like 2 points from this window, oh, there's already going to be cries to sack him. Not for me. I think you have to obviously give him time now. You just got to stick to Eric Chelle until the AFCON. But for World Cup qualifiers, if Nigeria miss another World Cup, disastrous. So they got to beat Rwanda and they have to beat Zimbabwe to get back into this group. If you get 6 points from any of these windows, if you're in this group of Group C, that's a very good window because of how tight it's been. Then Hugo Broos and South Africa, they will be playing Lesotho. Should be an easy win for South Africa, in my opinion. Might not be pretty, but Hugo Broos and his team, they're just marvelous to watch. I just love the football South Africa play, from Okowena to all these sort of ballers they have. It's just such good chemistry, and they know their identity. I just love watching South Africa play football. And Benin away, it's not really easy because Gernot Rohr knows how to get his team to a World Cup. Obviously, he did that with the Super Eagles. So I don't think this is going to be such a comfortable window for South Africa. I think they'll beat Lesotho, get 3 points. Benin away, that could be tough. And then the rest of these games, obviously you got Rwanda, Nigeria, you got Zimbabwe, Benin. If Zimbabwe want to have any chance of getting back into this fight, where if you just get a win, you'll be back into this fight, they got to beat Benin. I think after this window, you're going to see this group, maybe you're going to see like the top 3 be Rwanda, South Africa, Nigeria. Then you're going to see Lesotho and Zimbabwe kind of fade away. I'm not going to predict anything with this group because this group has just produced nonsense. I mean, nonsense. As a neutral, I'm loving it. But you cannot predict anything. But I think it's such a critical window for Nigeria and a critical window for Benin. Because if Benin can get a point away to Zimbabwe and beat South Africa, Benin can start believing that. Another insane group. Cameroon on 8 points, Libya, Cape Verde on 7 points, Angola on 6. Then you got Mauritania even on 4 points, and Eswatini at the bottom. And yeah, Eswatini are going to get shellacked in every game. So if you're Cameroon, no Anguissa, that's tough. So Baleba, you got to step up big time. Baleba hasn't played a lot of games for Cameroon. So I'm looking at, obviously, Mbuemo. I'm looking at Vincent Aboubakar, and I'm saying to those guys, you got to step up and beat Libya at home. No doubt about it, they will beat Eswatini away. Eswatini will lose every single game. Cameroon, they should be getting 6 points. Libya at home, strong team. Libya away from home, not so much. But there is a different element with this Libya team, as they announced that Aliou Cisse, yes, Aliou Cisse will be their manager. How does that change the dynamics of this group? Aliou Cisse is such an experienced manager. You can say what you want about his style of football. He gets results. And clearly with Libya, they have a good project going on with their young squad and obviously building for the future. So getting a manager like Aliou Cisse to pair with that, to build a cohesive playing style, I think is a perfect move. You get a manager like Aliou Cisse, it's just brilliant. Libya though, Angola at home, not easy because Angola right now, one of the most informed teams in Africa. And then Libya go away to Cameroon, that's going to be tough for Libya. So Aliou Cisse, your first 2 games, hey, good luck, buddy. But hey, if you're Libyan, you should feel very excited about the future, but these next 2 games are going to be tough. For Angola, they're obviously going to go away to Libya, which is not going to be easy, and they host Cabo Verde. Now, Cabo Verde have been atrocious in the last couple months in the AFCON qualifiers. They didn't even qualify for the AFCON after they made it to the quarterfinal. So I wonder if their sort of momentum that they built at the AFCON playing such good football has kind of died down. You know, even in these World Cup qualifiers, Cape Verde hasn't played good football. Like, they went away to Cameroon and got demolished there. I just think Cape Verde are a good home side, but away from home, they just cannot translate their style of football. So I think they will beat, obviously, Mauritius. But going away to Angola, I expect Angola to win it. So after this window, this group could be like Cameroon on, let's say, 14 points. I think then Angola will jump up to the second spot. Then Libya and Cape Verde will be fighting out for the third spot. But nothing is over in this group. And obviously, with anything in World Cup qualifiers, nothing is given. And I'm just excited to see how Aliou Cisse is going to do with Libya, obviously going up against Angola. But that Angola-Cape Verde game, that's one to watch out for, people, in this window. Why are we even playing this group? No disrespect, but why? Because we know Morocco are going to qualify. It would be a massive shock if they don't qualify. Also, Morocco are having a home game against Niger. Niger have to play their home games in Morocco. Come on now. We can find a better... Play it in Libya. Play it somewhere else. You're going to play Morocco in Morocco and it's your home game? It doesn't make any sense to me. Honestly, Congo, they're suspended. So there's only 4 teams left in this group. Morocco will obviously have 2 games against Niger and Tanzania, so Morocco will obviously collect 6 points and get up to 15 points and edge closer to qualifying to the World Cup. I don't know what CAF are going to do with obviously the Congo results. Are they going to count it into the final tally points? Who knows what's going to happen? Is everybody going to be rewarded with 3 points? You guys got to let me know if you guys have better information than me, because I've been trying to figure it out, but there's no real conclusive information on that status. Whereas Zambia, they're not going to play any games here. They're going to have 2 friendly games. So this group is just weird because we were kind of hoping for more tension, but I think this is done. It's done already. Morocco will qualify, and it's just going to be fascinating to see who gets the second place. But obviously, they have to figure out how do you tally the points up for the Congo results, because that will then figure out into the runners-up position. So if you're Tanzania, Zambia, Niger, you're going to hope that they reward you with the 3 points against Congo. Otherwise, yeah, it's going to be a daunting fight to get one of the best runners-up positions. I think Morocco will win both games like 4-0. I'm going to be honest here, people. They're just such a dominant team. Like, look at Brahim Diaz. The dude has been so good with the Atlas Lions. And I just want to see more ballers get some opportunities. It's just about now experimentation for Walid Regragui. You can say what you want. It's World Cup qualifiers. Just the sheer quality that Morocco have will overcome any adversity they face in these 2 games. I would be shocked if they drop points. Ivory Coast will be looking to get 6 more points in this group. They obviously travel away to Burundi. They host Gambia. Gambia are one of the more entertaining teams to watch right now in CAF, but their defense is not good enough. For how good they were under Tom Seifeld defensively, obviously Tom Seifeld's tactics kind of helped that out, but going forward, they have the quality like the Minte, the Cisse. Like, Gambia have so many good players. It's just the defense. Like, you cannot concede 3 to Burundi and 3 this game and 3 that game. Gambia, you're not going to qualify to the World Cup, and obviously they got 3 points, so it's very much a long shot that they will get to the runners-up position. And one of the fascinating hirings right now is that Benny McCarthy is the new Kenya national team manager. So let's see how Benny McCarthy, obviously he was assistant with Eric Ten Hag at Manchester United. So I'm intrigued to see how Benny McCarthy will do with Kenya. Obviously this is more about the future and hosting the AFCON in 2027. I presume so, because you don't hire Benny McCarthy just for short-term success and saying, okay, try and qualify for the World Cup. If you don't, you get sacked. No, obviously Benny McCarthy is more of a long-term strategic plan from Kenya, and I think going away to Gambia, I could see that being a draw. And at home to Gabon, look, Gabon are a good team because they've given some tough games to Ivory Coast so far in these World Cup qualifiers. They're neck and neck there with Ivory Coast, but I think Gabon will kind of fade away, even though they will demolish Seychelles. I mean, what is Seychelles' goal difference going to be at the end of these qualifiers? Like minus 30, minus 40? Am I being kind here, people? Seychelles, beautiful place probably for tourists. Footballing wise, they should not be here. They shouldn't be. So Ivory Coast, I expect them to collect 6 points in this window. And then Gabon, I expect them to collect maybe 4 points. I feel like the Kenya away game could be a little bit more tougher than people predict. This group got a little bit more fascinating because you look at the teams here. You obviously have Algeria qualifying for the AFCON, Mozambique qualifying for the AFCON, Uganda qualifying for the AFCON, Guinea, they really should have qualified for the AFCON, but bottled it. So you almost have 5 teams that qualify for the AFCON later this year in the same group. Very difficult group. And Algeria, they will go away to Botswana. But Botswana, difficult team now. you don't qualify for the AFCON just by luck. You don't. You qualify because you play some decent football and are very difficult to play against. And clearly Botswana have developed an identity of, okay, we're going to score maybe 1 or 2 goals and defensively just rock solid. So I feel like they can just use that momentum from qualifying for the AFCON into these games. You're going up against Algeria. Look, it's going to be difficult for Algeria and Petkovic, even though I think Petkovic recently has been doing really well. Amin Gouiri from obviously Marseille. He's balling out, by the way. I didn't think it was going to be a good move to go into Marseille, but he's balling out right now. He needs to start. Simple as that. So I want to see Amin Gouiri get some minutes in this window. And going away to Botswana, yeah, it's going to be tough, but I feel like Algeria, with the class they have, they maybe squeak a win, kind of similar to the game they had away to Mozambique, where it was difficult, but they got the result. And then Botswana hosting Somalia, it should be a victory for Botswana. The Mozambique-Uganda game could be a fascinating one because Uganda also not an easy team to play against. Look, no draws in this group, just straight dubs. Who's going to get the straight dubs in this window? I feel like Guinea are in a good position to get themselves into the second position because they're obviously hosting Somalia. And then away to Uganda, that could be a draw. So I feel like Guinea will get to 4 points. And the Algeria-Mozambique game. Mozambique are no joke. Since the AFCON, when they got that late equalizer against Ghana, Mozambique have been on a good momentum. So I think they can build upon that. And obviously when you got players like Jenny Katamo from Sporting, the dude is a baller, right? He's a baller. So this is going to be interesting to see how Algeria are going to play at home. Obviously Algeria at home, juggernauts. Absolute juggernauts, unless it's against Cameroon. Sorry, PTSD for all the Algerians out there. But they should be beating Mozambique. I expect Algeria to collect 6 points in this group, get further ahead of the chasing pack in this group, and then it's just going to be an absolute dogfight on who gets the second place. Right now, you can't predict it, right? You could give arguments to Uganda, you could give arguments to Guinea, to Botswana, to Mozambique. So this is going to be a fun group. And for Somalia, just keep on building good chemistry with each other. They've had some entertaining games. Obviously, the first game they had against Algeria, I was very impressed by Somalia. Since then, they haven't really built upon it. But I'm looking at that Uganda and Guinea game and saying, if whoever wins that game, they could grab the second place and take control of it. But finally, Tunisia have a manager. It looked like it was going to be Carlos Queiroz, and then they said, nope, Carlos Queiroz, you're not going to be our manager. Their new manager is Sami Tarabelsi, who was their former manager back in the early 2010s. I mean, Tunisia's attack is just non-existent. But defensively, look, 4 games, they haven't conceded a goal. But the AFCON qualifier games, again, was just a true reflection of the state of Tunisian football at the moment. Not good. The attack is not good. It just seems like there's no sort of chemistry with the players. They're really going to need some help attacking-wise. Tunisia are benefiting a lot from being a group that is not the strongest, and also Equatorial Guinea not getting those 2 victories that they had earlier on in this group. Otherwise, Tunisia would be in danger of not qualifying to the World Cup. They have this new manager. Let's see if it can just fire up something into this national team, because Tunisian football right now, it's dead. Like, I don't think they have positive energy even going into the AFCON later this year. So let's see what they can do. They're going away to Liberia. I would say on a normal occasion, it should be a Tunisia win, but you can't really say that right now. At home to Malawi, okay, I expect Tunisia to get a 1-0 victory with an 80th minute corner. How about that, people? Ever since the retirement of Kazari, there just doesn't seem to be a vocal point of who's going to be a creative outlet on this team. That's what Tunisia are really missing, and a striker, of course. Otherwise, in this group, I feel like Equatorial Guinea could get back into the race for the second place. They play Sao Tome and Principe. They should be winning that game. Going away to Namibia. Namibia recently, AFCON qualifiers, didn't go so well. Obviously, they built the momentum they had at the AFCON into these World Cup qualifiers, and they obviously got 8 points, which is unbelievable for them. But I feel like it's going to go away. This group, we could probably see by the end of this window, seeing Equatorial Guinea maybe 3rd, Namibia drop down to maybe 4th, maybe Malawi gets up to 2nd, or Liberia get up to 2nd. So there's going to be a lot of changes here, people. I'm really keeping an eye, though, on that Namibia-Equatorial Guinea game, because I feel like Equatorial Guinea, after qualifying to the AFCON, I could see Equatorial Guinea now using the momentum. They obviously drew with Algeria. They beat Liberia twice. So if you're Equatorial Guinea, obviously there's no Emilio Nsoy anymore with the national team, but you still have some good players. And now, with these 6 points really available, I think this is a great 6-point window for Equatorial Guinea. Whereas for Tunisia, I feel like they're just going to squeak by to the World Cup. And are they deserving of it? Yeah, they win their group, they deserve it, but they just haven't been a good national team in the past year. But maybe with this change, we're going to see a new Tunisia, hopefully. And the final group, Comoros, right now have the World Cup spot in their hands. They are first place with 9 points. Ghana are in second place with 9 points. Madagascar are in third place with 7 points. Mali with 5 points. Central African Republic with 4. And Chad are at the bottom. So what does this group say right now? Ghana, you're going to get 3 points against Chad. Okay? Otto Addoe, I don't know why he's still the manager. If you didn't qualify to the AFCON with this Ghana national team, you should be sacked. Okay? He's still the manager. We got to deal with it. No point in crying about it. He should be beating Chad. If they draw the Chad or lose points to Chad, Ghana, bro, he should be sacked immediately after the game. Immediately. Okay? Then they go away to Madagascar. Well, we saw the last time Ghana traveled to an island country, to Comoros, they lost. I wouldn't still feel so confident if I was Ghanaian heading into that game. But you just look at the players. They're so informed at the club level, but you simply cannot trust them, especially away from home. It just seems like Ghana just can't handle the pressure, and they just aren't able to. They just have no identity under Otto Addoe. Hopefully, they can show us something during this window. Hopefully, like, I expect them to get 3 points against Chad. I feel like that should be 3-4-0. If they can get a result away to Madagascar, I think that can bring some sort of belief back into this national team. Because right now, this sort of connection between the fans and the national team, it's dead. It's dead. Then I look at Mali. Mali are going away to Comoros and away to Central African Republic. Tom Seifeld, you got a tough job. A very tough job. And we all know how talented Mali are. If Mali don't even get second place, that's an embarrassment. It really is, because of how talented they are. The Nenes and all these players, Bissouma, so many good players from Mali. But they're going away to Comoros. And we know one thing with Comoros right now. You don't want to play them. You don't want to play them, especially when you have to travel away to Comoros. So I feel like Comoros, this is actually a 6-point window for them. You know what? That's crazy to say, people, but that's how good Comoros have become in recent years. And you really have to credit Stefano Cousin because, again, you know, Comoros are not going to play flashy football. They just get the individual goal scorers like a Said who got the goal against Tunisia. Like, Comoros have gotten results in the past year. So they are no joke. And I feel like they're going to beat Mali. And I think they're going to beat Chad and get 6 points in this window. So if Ghana and Comoros both get 6 points, I think they got to lock down for the top 2 spots. So then the game between Ghana and Comoros, when they play it in Ghana, that will be everything for who tops this group. So I think this is such a critical window for Mali. And heck, even for Madagascar. If Madagascar can beat Central African Republic and beat Ghana, Madagascar are in the fight. This group is wild, and I feel like there's still going to be so many changes. So let me know your thoughts, people. But there we have it, people. The preview for the March window in CAF World Cup qualifiers. I know for sure we're going to get some crazy games. Obviously, the review will be out about a week or 5 days after the window. So stay patient and let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Which teams desperately need to collect 6 points? Which teams are in trouble after this window? Remember to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new around there, and remember to follow me on all the socials. You can find those links in the description down below. But have a beautiful day. Stay safe in this crazy world. Till next time. Adios.